Prime Minister Holness to continue to lead. It is a matter that we need to pay attention to. The Prime Minister says that he's not a revolutionist, but there may very well need to be a revolution in Jamaica, a revolution on ignorance. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for paying attention to the conversations that matter. And I want to encourage you to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. I know that when we are not on, you miss us, but stop listening to the negative voices and the voices that have no interest in Jamaica. There is always a story beneath the story. There's always a story beneath the story. And as I listen to the Prime Minister today, I can't help but read his body language. And I see a Prime Minister giving his all for Jamaica. And I see a Jamaica questioning his sincerity. Good evening to you, Caroline. Good evening.
Well, good morning to you, neighbor.
It's morning where you are?
It's 1:05.
1:05. Oh my goodness. Well, how are you adjusting to the times? How are you adjusting?
I haven't yet, to be honest.
That's what they call jet lag?
No, I don't think I'm jet lagged. It's just that I still have to, do what I gotta do.
Yeah. Well, you are all the way in the United Kingdom. I see where the Prime Minister resigned today.
Huh?
The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He resigned today.
Yes, neighbor. Definitely, yes.
Well, our Prime Minister is not going to resign, and he's going to win a fourth term.
Definitely. Well, it has to.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice and sincere man, Andrew Holness is in Caroline. Very nice man.
He definitely is, neighbor. He loves Jamaica.
Yeah, loves Jamaica a lot. I was saying to me as I was opining that as I watched the Prime Minister today, I saw a man very sincere and giving his all for Jamaica. But I don't think Jamaicans are giving their all. And I don't think Jamaicans are appreciating the work that this Prime Minister is doing. Is it that they don't understand? What is that?
Neighbor, I am thinking the same thing. I'm yet to figure it out. If you do before I do, please let me know.
Well, we'll try to do a little bit of that on tonight's program. Well, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for the support and all that you do for the Politics Plus program. I heard the Prime Minister was listening today.
Yes, I heard that too. That is so nice. Well, hopefully one of these days he'll bless us with his presence.
Yes, you never could tell. Let's keep doing what we're doing, and we may very well be favored with his gracious presence one of these days.
Of course. But you're doing good though, right?
No, I'm not doing good at all, but I would have to talk to you off the air.
Okay, neighbor. Good evening. Good evening, listeners. I don't know if I should say good evening or good morning, but whichever one it is, welcome. Remember to tap, share, repost, send the heart me's, and to keep the comment section very, very active. All right, neighbor, have a great show.
Thank you so much. And we're live on YouTube, and we want to welcome our listeners over there as well. Now, as I said to you earlier, that there is always a story beneath the story. Always a story beneath the story. Politics, you see, in its public form, is theater. There is a theatrical aspect to politics. The ritualized politics, the choreographed politics, the presentation of consumption. It's the fight for your attention. And therefore, speeches are sharpened. Statistics are curated. Crises are framed. Leaders rise and leaders fall. Not only on what they do, but on how and what they do is narrated. How it is sold to the public. How it is interpreted. How it is contested. And in Jamaica today, one such narrative stands at the center of public discourse. The leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. To some, he's a stabilizing force, measured, modern, and very effective at navigating crises, both local and global. One cannot escape his management of COVID. Melissa, the crime monster that he tamed. Unemployment. The image of Jamaica. Some time ago, I told you that when Holness came to power, Jamaica was on the menu. And he has been able to remove Jamaica from the menu and place us on the table. But to others, he's a symbol of deeper tensions, class divisions, elite anxieties, and the persistent struggle over who holds power in the society. Who holds the power in Jamaica? Imagine Prime Minister revealing today in an interview on Nationwide with Cliff Hughes that the People's National Party they are aware of happenings in the IC, and he's not. Let that sit with you for a moment. Let that sit with you for a moment. That the Prime Minister of Jamaica reveals to his nation that the Integrity Commission, what is happening in there the PNP is more aware of it than he is. Because beneath both praise and criticism lies a deeper philosophical question. And that is, what is power? What is power? And why is it so persistently contested? Ask yourself, why does Mark Golding want to become Prime Minister? Why? Mark Golding not broke. Mark Golding not poor. Is it that Mark Golding love Jamaica and love Jamaicans? Why is power so persistently contested? Why do people want power? Even when outcomes appear on the surface to be positive. Why? We have to step beyond the partisan lines and into the terrain of philosophy and psychology too. And that is where perception, identity, and hidden motives converge. Something is happening in Jamaica. Something is happening in Jamaica. Let's go to some excerpts from the Prime Minister's interview today, and we will come back with this. We're going to Nationwide. Listen.
Your lawyers wrote to the IC asking them to make public the FID's position, and that's how they responded. The matter is still under investigation. Are you not aware of that?
So I'm not aware of the FID's position. That's the point I'm making. I'm surprised that you are aware of the FID's position. How do you know what the FID's position is? We wanted to know. Our lawyers wanted to know what it is, which is why we wrote to ask. But
no, your lawyers have not only just written to ask, they've asked that it be made public.
Yeah.
There you go. The Prime Minister, who was speaking during an exclusive interview with Nationwide's Cliff Hughes, avoided suggesting the commission is biased against the Jamaica Labour Party. He also stopped short of acknowledging whether he has confidence in the Integrity Commission.
Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
The Integrity Commission is a necessary agency to tackle corruption in Jamaica. I believe there are changes that are necessary for it to become more effective.
You haven't said yes or no.
I believe there are changes to make it more effective.
So as of this moment, do you have confidence in it?
I believe there are changes that are necessary.
It needs fixing.
Precisely. And this is not just my opinion. I believe that the Integrity Commission itself has suggested changes that would make it more effective.
There you go. The Prime Minister of Jamaica not explicitly stating whether he has confidence in the Integrity Commission. Dr. Holness also asserted,
keep the comment section very active, please,
that he has no knowledge of the ongoing investigations being conducted by the IC. The Prime Minister of Jamaica don't know.
I'm not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PNP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do. I am not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PNP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
I am not aware of investigations. It seemed to me that the PNP know more about these investigations than I do. That's coming from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Give me a second. I'm coming right back. Listen to the Prime Minister again.
Your lawyers wrote to the IC asking them to make public the FID's position, and that's how they responded. The matter is still under investigation. Are you not aware of that?
So I'm not aware of the FID's position. That's the point I'm making. I'm surprised that you are aware of the FID's position. How do you know what the FID's position is?
That's
we wanted to know. Our lawyers wanted to know what it is, which is why we wrote to ask. But
your lawyers have not only just written to ask, they've asked that it be made public.
Yeah.
There you have it. The Prime Minister speaking with Cliff Hughes this morning in what I consider to be a most revealing interview. Now, the big story coming out of that also is that Nationwide News is suggesting that the FID, that is the Financial Investigative or Investigation Division, tells the Integrity Commission that it does not have any credible basis to probe the Prime Minister's statutory declarations. That is the FID. According to Nationwide, the FID has told the Integrity Commission that there is no viable or credible basis for the FID to undertake an investigation into the statutory declarations of the Prime Minister. That is the FID telling the IC that they do not have any viable or credible basis. I want you to remember that the Integrity Commission probe or has been probing the Prime Minister for more than 5 years. And the Integrity Commission hired a private investigator for $30 million. According to Nationwide, it is understood that the FID has sharply criticized the IC for the public nature of its probe into Dr. Holness' affair and subsequent referral to the FID. You hear that? That the Financial Investigation Division has criticized the IC. Nationwide is reporting that the FID notes that the Integrity Commission's approach defied international best practices. Jamaica, Jamaicans, you are hear this? The IC is operating at a level that defies international best practice and risk prejudicing the investigation into 4 years of the Prime Minister's statutory filings. If this is not a scandal, it is the, let me tell you, George Davis of Nationwide reports. It's a Nationwide exclusive. We thank Nationwide for helping us out with the clip. Here is George Davis.
Nationwide News understands the FID made its position known in a letter sent to the Integrity Commission on September 30, 2025. That letter was sent by Principal Director of the FID, Keith Darian, to the IC's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson. In the letter, the FID is clear. It says that after extensive review, it has determined there is no reasonable prospect of obtaining evidence to support any criminal charges against the Prime Minister.
You hear that? You hear that? There was much about the Prime Minister's case being referred to the FID. You remember where I started? I'm going to go back to that. Don't tap and share and stay with me. There is always a story beneath the story. Beyond the visible, power, perception, and the quiet struggle for Jamaica's soul. Beyond the visible, the perception, the struggle for the soul of Jamaica. That is what I want to unpack with you tonight. Because political leadership is both a mask and a mirror. And I am beginning to feel that Mark Jefferson Golding is a man not to be trusted. I am beginning to feel that Mark Jefferson Golding is not a man to be trusted. Political leadership is both a mask and a mirror. It is a mask because it conceals as much as it reveals. A leader presents a curated version of reality. Decisions framed as necessary. Outcomes framed as success. Failures reframed as lessons. But leadership is also a mirror, reflecting anxieties, aspirations, and fractures of the society itself. You never see smoke. You never see smoke without fire. In the context of Jamaica, the perception of Andrew Holness as the best prime minister among some citizens is not merely about policy outcomes. It is about what he represents. Stability in uncertainty. Technocratic competence in a world that is increasingly shaped by complexity, and perhaps even a generational shift in leadership style. Yet, the intensity of opposition, or what some describe as an unrelenting effort to diminish him. There is an unrelenting effort in Jamaica to bring down this prime minister. And I put it to you that there is something deeper at play. Something deeper at play. Go ahead, George.
The FID told the Integrity Commission it does not carry out any investigation on a perfunctory basis. The word perfunctory is an adjective. It's used to describe an action done as a routine duty, but executed quickly, superficially, and without genuine care, interest, or enthusiasm. So what the FID has told the IC is that it does not launch investigations simply for the sake of doing so. The FID noted it had obtained some details of the Prime Minister's expenses which were requested by the IC, but it told the IC that the information obtained is unlikely to add any significant value to the investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. According to the FID, its decision to not initiate a formal investigation was made before the general election which was held on September 3, 2025. The FID met with the IC on September 18, 2025, where it shared that it deliberately withheld communication about its decision until after the election so as to avoid the accusation it was attempting to influence said election. Now, in the letter sent by the FID to the IC, the FID is sharply critical of the IC's approach to its investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. In one section of the letter, the FID says, quote, "Moreover, we have given careful consideration to the public nature of the referral. We are of the view that this approach may have been prejudicial not only to the subject of the investigation, but to the FID and potentially to the Integrity Commission itself." End quote. The FID also wrote, quote, "Please note, as a matter of course, the FID pursues very sensitive investigations, and in this particular case, we believe it was remiss of the IC not to request that the FID conduct a joint or parallel investigation around the time of the commencement of the probe, in keeping with international best practice." End quote. The FID continued, "In light of the foregoing, the FID has determined it will not initiate an investigation of the subject. The challenges in obtaining any evidence that meets the requisite standard using significant resources and time far outweigh the potential benefits of pursuing an investigation at this stage." End quote. Our sources say the Integrity Commission has since written back to the FID requesting it reconsiders its position on the Holness issue, but it's understood the FID.
Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Why? What is wrong? Jesus, my God. This a neat crowd. I am alarmed. I am amazed. I am shocked. The Integrity Commission is not satisfied that the FID is saying that it can't, it don't have nothing to investigate. Play that again.
National best practice. End quote. The FID continued, "In light of the foregoing, the FID has determined it will not initiate an investigation of the subject. The challenges in obtaining any evidence that meets the requisite standard using significant resources and time far outweigh the potential benefits of pursuing an investigation at this stage." End quote. Our sources say the Integrity Commission has since written back to the FID requesting it reconsiders its position on the Holness issue, but it's understood the FID is unlikely to respond favorably to the request. Our sources say senior investigators at the FID believe the case is not credible and are stunned at what they describe as the IC's amateur approach to the investigation. George Davis for Nationwide News. Nationwide News are...
No, we're going to have to play that again. We are going to have to play that again. The FID is stunned at the IC's approach. Thank you, Nationwide. Now, you may want to ask, how did Nationwide come by this? Well, how did the PNP come by their information? How? Let us go back over this now. The Nationwide is reporting that the Dennis Strong-led Financial Investigations Division has told the Integrity Commission that there is no viable or credible basis for the FID, to undertake an investigation into the statutory declarations of the Prime Minister.
Please tap the screen, everyone. Share, repost, and keep the comment section active, please.
Nationwide is reporting that the FID has sharply criticized the IC. And they are criticizing the IC for the public nature of its probe into Dr. Holness's affair and the subsequent referral to the FID. In other words, the FID is not happy as to how the IC is conducting this investigation. The report from Nationwide is suggesting that the IC's approach defied international best practices and risk prejudicing the investigation. Let's listen again to the exclusive report coming out of Nationwide this morning. You will recall that the Prime Minister was down at Nationwide this morning, sitting in the Nationwide studio. And when Cliff Hughes revealed the information that he got out of the FID, the Prime Minister was shocked. Thank you again, George Davis. Go ahead.
Understands the FID made its position known in a letter sent to the Integrity Commission on September 30, 2025. That letter was sent by Principal Director of the FID, Keith Darian, to the IC's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson. In the letter, the FID is clear. It says that after extensive review, it has determined there is no reasonable prospect of obtaining evidence to support any criminal charges against the Prime Minister. The FID told the Integrity Commission it does not carry out any investigation on a perfunctory basis. The word perfunctory is an adjective. It's used to describe an action done as a routine duty, but executed quickly, superficially, and without genuine care, interest, or enthusiasm. So what the FID has told the IC is that it does not launch investigations simply for the sake of doing so. The FID noted it had obtained some details of the Prime Minister's expenses, which were requested by the IC. But it told the IC that the information obtained is unlikely to add any significant value to the investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. According to the FID, its decision to not initiate a formal investigation was made before the general election, which was held on September 3, 2025. The FID met with the IC on September 18, 2025, where it shared that it deliberately withheld communication about its decision until after the election so as to avoid the accusation it was attempting to influence said election. Now, in the letter sent by the FID to the IC, the FID is sharply critical of the IC's approach to its investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. In one section of the letter, the FID says, quote, "Moreover, we have given careful consideration to the public nature of the referral. We are of the view that this approach may have been prejudicial not only to the subject of the investigation, but to the FID and potentially to the Integrity Commission itself." End quote. The FID also wrote, quote, "Please note, as a matter of course, the FID pursues very sensitive investigations, and in this particular case, we believe it was remiss of the IC not to request that the FID conduct a joint or parallel investigation around the time of the commencement of the probe, in keeping with international best practice." End quote. The FID continued, "In light of the foregoing, the FID has determined it will not initiate an investigation of the subject. The challenges in obtaining any evidence that meets the requisite standard using significant resources and time far outweigh the potential benefits of pursuing an investigation at this stage." End quote. Our sources say the Integrity Commission has since written back to the FID requesting it reconsiders its position on the Holness issue, but it's understood the FID is unlikely to respond favorably to the request. Our sources say senior investigators at the FID believe the case is not credible and are stunned at what they describe as the IC's amateur approach to the investigation. George Davis for Nationwide News.
There you have it. Amazing out of that. Now, the Prime Minister today made some further comments, which I think I should bring to your attention. The Jamaica Gleaner is reporting that the Prime Minister is suggesting that Dr. Wheatley retains his confidence. The Prime Minister did not actually say that. I'm going to play for you what the Prime Minister said, and I'm going to read for you what the Gleaner is reporting. The headlines from the Gleaner, let me see if I can find it here. Holness retains confidence in Wheatley amid IC recommendation for corruption charges. Now, I have been trying to get you to understand the whole matter of narrative framing. Narrative framing. Holness retains confidence in Wheatley amid IC recommendation for corruption charges. Now, here is what the Prime Minister said to Mr. Hughes this morning. Here is it.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the Office of the Prime Minister, particularly in AI and cyber and these other areas.
There is a distinction to be made there, and I think the Prime Minister was being very diplomatic and very precise. The Prime Minister was asked if Dr. Wheatley retains his confidence as a cabinet minister. Listen again to what the Prime Minister, how the Prime Minister answered the question. Listen to it.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the...
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing. Not as a cabinet minister, in the work. There is a distinction to be made between retaining confidence as a cabinet minister and the work he's been doing. That's what the Prime Minister said. But that's not what the Gleaner is reporting. The Gleaner says Holness retains confidence in Wheatley amid recommendation for corruption charges. That's misleading. Because if you listen to the comments coming in on the Gleaner, very deceptive comment. Same so, just as Golden did with Bunting and Last. Birds of a feather flock together. This must be joke of the year. Of course, when they're in the same boat. Because if him drop, you crash. You have no confidence in him. Hard to take action when your secrets could get exposed in the process. No better herring, no better barrel. Birds of a feather. And it goes on and on and on. Because
asking everyone to repost the live, tap the screen, share the live, and to send out news, please.
Because Jamaicans are headline readers. We don't read stories in Jamaica, you know. We read headlines. And that's the same thing the Gleaner did last week when it published this absurd deportee deal. And Jamaica was up in flames. There's no deportee deal. A mere 25 people is to come into Jamaica. Some of them may seek asylum. They are not criminals. And all of you out there making up noise and running up on the mouth as if you can run the government. Go into any community in Jamaica and pick out 18 people and tell them, say, go and form a cabinet. And Jamaica crash. Jamaica crashed in the 1970s. It crashed in the 1990s. And under Portia Simpson Miller, she wasn't even a prime minister. Somebody else was running the government. The only time we have had governments in Jamaica is under the Jamaica Labour Party. The only time we have had stable government is under the Jamaica Labour Party. The Jamaica Labour Party, Edward Siaga, he was the first head of state to visit the United States White House when he won in 1980. All of you comrades cussing me out there, cuss if you don't want cuss. Vex if you don't want vex. Cuss if you don't want cuss. A true. PNP governments have been devastatingly poor. PNP can't run country. PNP is a statist group, you know. Statist groups don't run country. The PNP is a tribal group. Tribes don't run country, you know. Tribes, look out for them tribe. When the PNP is running the government, the PNP don't manage Jamaica, you know. I wonder if you know that, comrade. PNP don't manage Jamaica, you know. PNP manage PNP. When the PNP are run Jamaica, PNP don't look out for PNP, you know. PNP don't have no business with the rest of the country. They are not capitalists. They don't know nothing about global economics. They don't know nothing about the market. They don't know nothing about capitalism. They are statists. Them just think say then come in a government to distribute. So if government if money in the Lord God Almighty, if money don't have the NIR, PNP just get out. Money there up at NHT, then get out. Then just give out money. They all print money. You know that there was a time in Jamaica when they were printing money, Mr. Pattison. Now imagine how reckless that is. You can't have a country and you have print money. But the PNP is not a really serious political party, to be frank with you, listeners. The PNP is like a little they can't manage, man. They can't manage. Right? Labour Party has given Jamaica government. PNP given Jamaica clans. And when the clan runs things, the nation fails. And that is why under the PNP, the nation always fails. Always fails. Because it's about looking out for your clan. The fight for scarce benefits and political spoils. Hostile tribes perpetually at war. The politics of who get when, what, when, and how. So if your nose not in the trough and you're not a comrade, you ain't gonna get nothing yourself. Labour Party is different. And I know that because I have looked at the policies. The Labour Party is about the development of the country. And if the country grows, Labour right grow, comrades grow. You ask even the Labour Party supporters and they'll tell you. A lot of them are not happy with their party, Labour Party supporters I'm talking about. Because they feel that somehow their party needs to be like the People's National Party. You eat a food. But what Labour Party is about building a society where every man benefits. And that's the struggle. That's the real struggle they're having with Holness, Our Holness is leveling the playing field. When Mr. Siaga entered into politics, he gave a speech about the haves and the have-nots, the inequities in the society, classism and elitism and the social inequities, the trickle down thing. Look at what happened in the 90s. The greatest transfer of resources from the poor to the rich that occurred in Jamaica since slavery. You think that was just a policy failure? No. Anyway, let's get back to the story at hand. So the Prime Minister did not say that he had confidence in Dr. Wheatley as a cabinet minister. The Prime Minister did not say that at all. The Prime Minister said this. This is what the Prime Minister said.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the office of the Prime Minister, particularly.
That Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the office of the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister did not commit to saying that Dr. Wheatley enjoys his confidence. But I guess the Gleaner wanted to publicize exactly what they wanted to publish, that the Prime Minister is supporting Dr. Wheatley. And of course, the people heard that because that is what the Gleaner wanted them to hear. Quite a fascinating interview this morning by the Prime Minister, and we have a little bit more for you. The Prime Minister also addressed the matter of the TCN agreement, rejecting the claim that Jamaica was forced into the TCN agreement. The Prime Minister rejected a report that the Jamaican government was forced into signing a memorandum of understanding with the United States to accommodate third country nationals. The Prime Minister dismissed the claim during the interview. And here is what the Prime Minister said to Mr. Hughes this morning.
Was our hands forced? Were we coerced? Absolutely not. And this is what I would wish my Jamaican people to appreciate. You have in me and in my government a Prime Minister and ministers who stand up for you, who seek to get the best deals for you. And
you heard that? The Prime Minister is saying that, let's play that again. He wants Jamaica to trust him, that he is doing his best for the people of Jamaica. God Almighty, man.
Absolutely not. And this is what I would wish my Jamaican people to appreciate. You have in me and in my government a Prime Minister and ministers who stand up for you, who seek.
I want my people to appreciate that you have in me as your Prime Minister a man that is standing up for you.
Get the best deals for you. And I listened keenly to the response of the leader of the opposition to the TCN program. And I noticed he did not say he wouldn't have done it. I noticed he didn't say we should reject it. He said, well, it's just a pity it had to come out in this way. We should have come to the public before.
Dr. Holness says that there is no need for the public to panic or no need to panic over the agreement. The Prime Minister says that the plan has always been to communicate the details once the arrangements are finished. Here is the Prime Minister.
You can't come until you are finished with all the negotiations. Everything is signed and done. So though we have signed the MOU, it is not yet implemented. It's not complete because the operationalization is not complete. Now, as soon as that is done, then we would have called a press conference. We would have said, this is what he's doing. You believe that we could have done this in secret, a plane land with 25 people. It would be all over the news. So the panic around it is almost to the point of being ridiculous, honestly.
There you go. And the Prime Minister says that Jamaicans need to carefully assess the country's role in the global system. Now, that is something that I think Jamaicans are not paying much attention to. Geopolitics and the global environment in which we are. Here is the Prime Minister.
The United States has asked countries that it considers its friends to assist them in managing their immigration challenges. Now, who are we as Jamaicans? Are we part of the global system? Are we a friend of the United States? Are we looking to the United States to assist with things? Do we only assist in exchange for something? Is the relationship always transactional? I urge Jamaicans to put away the notion of thinking about our relationships only in the prism of the 70s and 80s. Now it's a different time. Jamaica is an independent country. Jamaica is a country that is part of a multilateral system. We are using our foreign policy for our economic and social
Mr. Prime Minister.
There you go. The prism of the 70s. And one of these evenings we can get into that prism of the 70s where the ideological war was on and all of that jazz. The Prime Minister also said that Ambassador Audrey Marks indicate to the United States officials that Jamaica would be willing to accept that at no time did Ambassador Marks say to the United States that Jamaica would be willing to accept 10,000 illegal immigrants. The Prime Minister says that Ambassador Marks discussed a structured migration program with the United States in a meeting
Minister Dana Morris Dixon
that she attended on his behalf. Here is the Prime Minister again.
Because
Yes.
These issues sometimes take
Unanswered. Your cabinet minister, former ambassador to the US, Audrey Marks, did she offer Jamaica yes, would be willing to accept up to 10,000 illegal aliens in America?
Well, I suspect you mean in Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
But absolutely not. I think there's a conflation of two separate programs.
Oh.
One program which we know about now, which is the Third Country National Program, which by now possibly about 30 countries would have had. Last year it was about 28 would have had. Jamaica signed recently, so we would be one of them. And I believe Minister Dana Morris Dixon would have explained the program very well, that it is 25 per fortnight. If 10 decide to stay, then that breaks the program comes to a halt, that the International Organization for Migration will assist in managing the program. The details, the logistics have not yet been worked out, and so the operational details are still being negotiated.
So how did that issue of
Right,
Minister Marks
let me quickly, let me quickly
a
explain,
diplomatic note?
Let me quickly explain. When Minister Marks was ambassador to the United States, one of her jobs would have been to advise the government of likely changes in foreign policy and how those changes would impact Jamaica. In parallel to that, Jamaica was going through some changes ourselves. We, for the first time in our history, reached what economists call full employment. And we're practically at full employment. The last figure is 3.6% unemployed. 50,000 Jamaicans are unemployed. But within that are persons seeking jobs, persons who have changed jobs, structural unemployment, some of it. Now, we have had to be figuring out, what do we do when we get to 2% unemployment? We hear the calls coming in from construction, quick services, data sciences, engineering. We just don't have the skills. So we have to think way in advance. How do we treat with this when we get to that point? So the issue of the U.S. changing policy to limit Jamaican migration sparked us to start to think, you know what, we need to have a structured migration program, which is quite separate from the Third Country National program, which uses Jamaica as a transit point. So this is not even a policy, it is just the government thinking in advance.
So that is what Ambassador Minister Marks would have shared with the Americans?
I think she would have shared with them a strategy of structured migration where Jamaicans could get to go to the United States, because my understanding of it is that Minister Marks attended an event in the United States on my behalf, an event sponsored by, I believe it was the Shield of the Americas, if I'm not mistaken. And she attended on my behalf, and she would have suggested that Jamaica is considering a structured migration program. And I believe that that may have been taken and rolled up and conflated. So I suspect what was in the media is a diplomatic note asking, are we considering this? And we responded, we're not considering it in the sense of the TCN, the Third Country National. What we are thinking about is slightly different. So let me just explain that. So right now, we are looking at structured migration programs. We have examples of a structured migration program. We have the farm workers and we have the hotel workers. The unstructured programs, people come here almost every year to recruit our teachers and our nurses, creates a real dislocation in our operations. What if we were able to structure this even more? So we could say to the United States or to whichever other country, all right, if you want to recruit our teachers, well, come to us, assist us with our training. You could take them for half of the year and they can come back. Or you could take them for a year and they come back. It is a structured arrangement. Right now, we are pursuing structured arrangements with Ghana and Nigeria and India, and I believe the Philippines, for nurses. We have had a structured migration program with Cuba, where we have had the Cuban doctors for many years and nurses.
So tell me, Mr. Prime Minister,
So we are looking to expand that structured migration program. So Jamaicans can go, foreigners can come, but we are not at that point yet.
Okay.
Yes.
But given the recent history,
Okay, so
Because-
Yes.
so there, there you have it. The Prime
Because-
Minister, Prime Minister explaining that the PNP's women's movement is saying that they need clarity on the deportation deal. So that's the PNP's women's movement. Their president, Duncan Sutherland. By the way, congratulations to a student in St. Elizabeth, Jasonica Beale is Jamaica's top 2026 PEP candidate. That Jasonia Beale, or Beale, I hope I'm getting her name correct. Top PEP student. I want to say congratulations also to Gustav's. That's our contributor here on the program, Gustav. His daughter, he told me today. Good evening, neighbor. My daughter, I got my PEP result today, and my daughter is going to Mount Alvernia High. I'm so proud. She made me proud. Well, congratulations, Gustav. Congratulations to your daughter going to Mount Alvernia High School. Big up, young one. I wish for you the very best. Continue to make your father proud. Keep your head up. Look to the clouds. Stay out of the crowd. Don't be too loud. And shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Okay? So congratulations to you, Gustav, and all the best to you and your daughter. All right. So the Gleaner is reporting that the civil society groups are not very happy with the Prime Minister today. Accountability Group raises concerns over Wheatley's remaining in the cabinet, says the Prime Minister should act. Here is a story coming out of the Gleaner. There is a glaring inconsistency in de facto Science, Technology and Special Projects Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley's failure to resign and Prime Minister Dr. Holness' failure to remove him from the cabinet. Position pending the outcome of impending criminal charges, one civil society group has asserted. The Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAM, made the assertion in a statement on Monday, hours after Holness indicated in a radio interview that Wheatley, listen to this, retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing. The Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission, IC, has ruled that Wheatley, the Member of Parliament for St. Catherine South Central, is to be charged with illicit enrichment and other corruption-related offenses. JAM described the findings and recommendations of the IC as among the most serious to have emerged to date from Jamaica's integrity and anti-corruption framework. JAM believes that the seriousness of the referral for charges for illicit enrichment, alleged omissions from statutory declarations, and findings related to failure to provide information requested by the Integrity Commission require an immediate, credible response, at the very least, should demonstrate some standard that is consistent, JAM said. So then the civil society groups are coming out one by one. One by one, they are coming out. And of course, they are suggesting that Dr. Wheatley ought to resign. Astute is with us, and we're going to come to you soon. 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Astute, how you doing?
I'm doing Excellent. I love the news. I love the way how the program started off. Good evening to all the viewers. Good evening to the panelists. Yes, neighbor. So I am happy with how tonight's or this evening's program started, and I think the Prime Minister will be vindicated. Well, can already say he has been vindicated because what a report!
Yes.
What a report by the FID. Essentially, the FID had said, "You think so? We are boy, and we just get up and do the thing willingly. We carry out the thing with the highest form of professionalism and expertise and capability. But I see, operate like an immature and professional. There is nothing to report on, and I love that. I don't hear no other group talking about it but this one. But yes, neighbor, I feel good about what's happening. Great, actually.
Okay, great. All right. So then, Shafreen, are you keeping me company, or you holding things down?
I'm here to keep your company and monitor TikTok. So Caroline, please.
What happened to Caroline? She's getting some rest.
Well, yeah, it's very late for her. It's in the morning already.
Okay. All right. Good evening to you, Honeybee. Good evening to you. Hi, I'm here.
I was just listening to I tuned in today with the Prime Minister when you first bring across the interview with Cliff Hughes and the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And I with the civil society group a while ago that you were reading, I didn't see it, and they said, I'm saying, why are they in so much hurry? The man has not been charged. Just let the court do his work and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
I guess that's too much to ask. So, and I love the way the Prime Minister was very diplomatic today. And as much as Cliff Hughes pushed, he could not get him to get out of character. And I love that.
Uh-huh.
Because as Scratchy said to you today, Cliff Hughes has to be a journalist. That's what he does. And he wants to be the first person to say, you hear it here. So the Prime Minister, being strategic as he is, knew what to expect. And as you said, neighbor, an interview will tell you how a person, what type of mindset the person is in and how they will react under pressure. And the Prime Minister, he has proven to us time after time that he can handle pressure. So I wasn't even worried about any interview. I just wanted to hear what question Cliff Hughes would ask and the answer that the Prime Minister would have given. And you notice too, when he was speaking about what with Arjun Mars, you notice Cliff Hughes tried cutting him off twice. And the Prime Minister hold his ground and complete what he was trying, what he wanted to say, and I love that. So kudos to the Prime Minister. I have all the confidence in the Prime Minister. The flip-flop labor rights, they need to settle down and understand and know what they want. Do you want a Jamaica that you can?
You said flip-flop. Oh no, you said flip-flop labor rights, man.
Yeah, man, you have some flip-flop labor rights because this moment they're all right, and the next moment they're wondering if, as they hear the PNP come out with something, them start to wonder if. Stand firm in your belief, man. The PNP not drift from them belief, man. They're holding it to it. Already it's not true, they're holding it to it.
Uh-huh.
So why can't you? You can't be flip-flopping, you have to be. It's either you are or you're not. Right? That's why the song said stand up for your right. Know what is right and know what is wrong. And if you are following the Prime Minister and watching the progress of the country, you know that what the PNP is coming out with makes no sense. So you don't have to worry. Another thing today, I was scrolling and I saw another TikToker was playing what he was literally playing, the amount of scandal that was unfolded under the Pakistan administration.
Yes.
And some of the comments were ridiculous. They were saying that is the past. So the commentator said to them, but that's the past. But Patty is still alive, but you're riding on Michael Man the coattails. So I don't understand how you're going to bring up that is the past. No, that it is showing you guys up. Why are you not coming for it's the past? And Patty is not the prime minister anymore, so that's not necessary. But what he's saying, but what I'm trying to show you people are coming out with this from the IC about a scandal when there is no scandal, and these are scandals that can be proven. They are in the archive, you can find them. So we are not making up anything, and them not care, weekly must go. The man say, when you move him since you put him there. And that was the whole story today, everybody. So I wasn't surprised that they came out and said what they said. And expect more to come out before the weekend. And you can expect a lot more to come out and advise their opinion. I want to put pressure on the government. You see the cleaner twist what the government said already, the Prime Minister said. And but that's not new to me. I expect that. So it's just anywhere for me, neighbor. I'm just listening to the Prime Minister, and I have all the confidence that the Prime Minister is going to execute what he started and complete his mandate. And that's all I want. I just want the country to continue to move forward, and I'm not listening to the noise, just not listening at all. And that's my words today.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Wow, great. Thank you so much. So, it is very, very interesting what is going to develop from here with the FID right into the IC. What you make of that, Astute?
Neighbor, today I was on a platform with one, I'm not call nobody name. Somebody will always come over here, big nose man. Big nose mash mouth man. Will always come over here and I talk foolishness. And he was saying that the Prime Minister, first of all, he was saying that Cliff Hughes was lying. He didn't have no such information. So I am feeling good right now. Now to answer your question, Labour, this to me seems like the first nail in the coffin of the directorate of the IC, not the IC as an institution, but those who have been placed in power to carry out the functions of the IC. Sorry. And this first nail is a critical nail. Because remember, if you listen carefully, I wanted to play back the audio at some point, but if you listen carefully, the FID has expressed no confidence in the IC. Without using those exact words. You know, they have to be diplomatic. But they have expressed no, because they're saying the cost of pursuing this matter does not benefit the people, because you end up now spend more money. Well, it's almost like you're spending $1,000 to retrieve $1, when it has clearly shown that there's nothing to report on.
Yes.
So I am saying now, with one of your oversight bodies, I have never seen this in the history of politics in Jamaica.
It is an amazing revelation, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised this evening that this is not what the civil society groups are talking about. This is a big story, is it not?
You say, if you want to know in a roach belly, you're crushing. They say the pressure is coming down now. Now you know where their allegiance lie. Because how is it that we're going to talk about immediately. He isn't even charged yet. Yet still the Jack Den boss, let me not use Jack Den boss, Ian Hales, who is under investigation, and he has no civil society groups calling for his resignation.
Yes.
So what is happening here? I see a clear double standard, and we cannot afford to have this kind of. No, neighbor, it is so ironic that you are supposed to be an integrity commission. Essentially, you oversee. Essentially, you are there to make sure.
I don't know why I struggle to hear you, Astute. You could turn up your volume a little for me.
I don't think it's my volume.
No, I think it is. I'm hearing you better now. Whatever you did, keep it there.
Okay, beautiful. Let me. All right, how is this? This is better?
It is better.
Okay, excellent. So I'm saying the irony of this whole situation is this body who has been put in place to be unbiased in the carrying out of the functions within their scope is showing biases. And that is not integrity as I know it. So the Integrity Commission has no integrity, and they are unprofessional and amateurs, according to the report of the FID. Now, neighbor, you know how damning that is? How can the body, one of the premier bodies that are put in place to ensure that people are moving above board, and then themselves now move above board? I think a serious shaking of that entity needs to happen forthwith, and Jamaican civil society groups need to come out and show that they are for Jamaica and for Jamaican people and should operate in the highest level of integrity of our people. Okay, neighbor, that is my take on this matter.
Okay, we have member Harry and member Scratchy joining us at this time. I think before I invite the members to comment, that I should play again for you this report coming out of Nationwide. Listen to it.
Nationwide News understands the FID made its position known in a letter sent to the Integrity Commission on September 30, 2025. That letter was sent by Principal Director of the FID, Keith Darian, to the IC's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson. In the letter, the FID is clear. It says that after extensive review, it has determined there is no reasonable prospect of obtaining evidence to support any criminal charges against the Prime Minister. The FID told the Integrity Commission it does not carry out any investigation on a perfunctory basis. The word perfunctory is an adjective. It's used to describe an action done as a routine duty, but executed quickly, superficially, and without genuine care, interest, or enthusiasm. So what the FID has told the IC is that it does not launch investigations simply for the sake of doing so. The FID noted it had obtained some details of the Prime Minister's expenses, which were requested by the IC. But it told the IC that the information obtained is unlikely to add any significant value to the investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. According to the FID, its decision to not initiate a formal investigation was made before the general election, which was held on September 3, 2025. The FID met with the IC on September 18, 2025, where it shared that it deliberately withheld communication about its decision until after the election so as to avoid the accusation it was attempting to influence said election. Now, in the letter sent by the FID to the IC, the FID is sharply critical of the IC's approach to its investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. In one section of the letter, the FID says, quote, "Moreover, we have given careful consideration to the public nature of the referral. We are of the view that this approach may have been prejudicial not only to the subject of the investigation, but to the FID and potentially to the Integrity Commission itself." End quote. The FID also wrote, quote, "Please note, as a matter of course, the FID pursues very sensitive investigations And in this particular case, we believe it was remiss of the IC not to request that the FID conduct a joint or parallel investigation around the time of the commencement of the probe, in keeping with international best practice. End quote. The FID continued, in light of the foregoing, the FID has determined it will not initiate an investigation of the subject. The challenges in obtaining any evidence that meets the requisite standard using significant resources and time far outweigh the potential benefits of pursuing an investigation at this stage. End quote. Our sources say the Integrity Commission has since written back to the FID requesting it reconsiders its position on the Holness issue, but it's understood the FID is unlikely to respond favorably to the request. Our sources say senior investigators at the FID believe the case is not credible and are stunned at what they describe as the IC's amateur approach to the investigation. George Davis for Nationwide News.
Okay, there you have it. Member Harry, let's start with you before we get to Scratchy. Member, what do you make of this piece of information coming out of Nationwide? Harry? No, I'm not so sure what is happening.
Neighbor, start with Scratchy.
Okay, Scratchy?
Nine neighbor, nine everyone. Nine Jeffrey.
Scratchy, what do you make of what you are hearing here coming out of Nationwide?
Yes, neighbor, definitely some information, neighbor, that if you're looking from things, neighbor, from a real technical standpoint, neighbor, there's a lot of questions, neighbor, to be asked, neighbor, in terms of how the IC can do itself. One of my key points, though, neighbor, coming out of this report, neighbor, is when, neighbor, FID said that when the Integrity Commission, neighbor, started its investigation of the Prime Minister, neighbor, instead of the Integrity Commission, neighbor, as international best practice, approach the FID, neighbor, to help in its investigation, neighbor, at that time. Why they were coming to the investigation, they do that, neighbor. You know why they did not do that, neighbor? Because they were to believe that the integrity, that the FID is compromised. You know what they did? They went outside of Jamaica.
Make that point again. Oh Lord, my God. Make that point again for me, Scratchy.
Neighbor, the key part of the report, neighbor, the FID said that it is international best practice that during the commencement of these investigations that the IC started in Prime Minister, neighbor, they could have said it, neighbor, the assistance of the FID to do a joint investigation from that time.
Yes, sir.
Bypass the FID, neighbor. Went outside of Jamaica, neighbor. Seek an international outside firm and make that firm come in now and conduct an investigation. And after that firm, neighbor, that they relied so much on, tell them that there's nothing, no problem here. They didn't want to just close the case now, neighbor. They refer the case back to FID. And that is the biggest issue in this, neighbor.
My God, Scratchy, break it down for our listeners a little bit more. You're a brilliant analyst. You are saying to me the international best practice. The international best practice was for the IC to seek the FID's cooperation in the investigation. But the IC did not do that.
No, they did not do it.
Instead, they went outside.
So for new bypass, neighbor, and an investigative organization in Jamaica that you could have used to aid in your investigation of the Prime Minister. Because you're basically saying that these guys are all compromised in some form of way. And you don't have any trust in them.
Yes.
So you went outside of the country now to get an independent firm outside of the country. That firm now tell you that we don't see any problem here, you know. Then now, after for you to just close your investigation, and then now you automatically, have to certify the Prime Minister, you hold up the certification for the Prime Minister by referring the investigation now to FID and TAJ when you could have asked for their service from the initial stage of your investigation. They could have been a part of your investigation. But the IC is playing games now, neighbor. The IC is blundering and trying to make the process of the Prime Minister not being certified linger in the public domain, neighbor, so public perception can be formed against white, but they are holding the process, neighbor, when they refer it back to the FID and back to THA, to Tax Administration Jamaica. The IC is playing games, neighbor, and it is full time now, neighbor, for the persons in Jamaica who call themselves well-thinking persons.
Yes.
I'm talking about the president of the Bar Association
Yes.
of Jamaica, neighbor.
PIOJ.
I'm talking about the Norman Man International Law School. I'm talking about, neighbor, the chancellors and certain people, neighbor. The IC is being shown up, neighbor, FID, which is also an investigative body, neighbor, in this country, neighbor, is telling us that the approach of the IC, neighbor, is mediocre.
Yes.
They're saying, neighbor, that, come on, neighbor, this thing from FID is saying so much, neighbor. And I can't believe that the well-thinking Jamaicans are so silent and are not coming out, neighbor, and calling for some serious referrals in terms of the Integrity Commission or the Integrity Commission operating, neighbor. That neighbor, based on this report, the Integrity Commission, neighbor, needs to be disbanded, neighbor.
This cannot withstand any scrutiny at all. The Integrity Commission is no more after this scratchy. Quite frankly, what this is saying is that we don't have an Integrity Commission.
Neighbor, we don't have an Integrity Commission, neighbor. No. FID said to you now, we don't say anything to charge the Prime Minister. And you're going to write back the FID and tell the FID that they must reconsider this and look deeper into things.
Eh?
This is fishing. This is fishing, neighbor, and mudslinging. Neighbor, the Integrity Commission, neighbor, based on this report from the FID, is compromised, neighbor, and that organization, neighbor, should be disbanded right now going forward.
You have no further confidence in them.
Neighbor, I have no further confidence in them, neighbor. This is my neighbor. Look at the rhetoric, look at the words that are coming out from the FID, neighbor. Look at the things that FID are saying, neighbor.
About the Integrity Commission.
About the Integrity Commission, neighbor. If I never believed that the Integrity Commission was playing games, neighbor. Just listening from the FID report, neighbor, it shows me now, neighbor, and Dean Jackson Miller and these persons who consider themselves attorneys and stuff like that, they must also divulge in these things, neighbor, so that the Integrity Commission is really fishing, it's really neighbor. The Integrity Commission, what I'm basically saying is, neighbor, they drag out the Prime Minister in the process, neighbor, after releasing the report, making reference to FID and TAJ to look further into the Prime Minister, neighbor. They did that, neighbor, because once they close their report and they have nothing to charge him, neighbor, they have to automatically, neighbor, certify him. Now, to hold the certification process, neighbor, they refer the report to other agencies, neighbor, for those agencies to tie it up no more with time consuming for the investigation, and they can withhold.
Because once you keep the case unclosed, then the perception is out there that the Prime Minister is doing something wrong. As long as you can drag it out for.
And that is exactly what the Integrity Commission is doing, neighbor. Keeping the case closed, neighbor, so that the public can form their own opinion, neighbor, and the PNP can try to gain some kind of mileage of it, neighbor. This report, neighbor, is nothing. This is not nothing light. This is something very serious, neighbor. The Integrity Commission is an organization that is tasked with a whole lot of powers. And if this is how these guys are operating, neighbor, we need to strip them of that powers, disband that organization, neighbor, and retool it and reform it and come again. Because in the current state right now, neighbor, the Prime Minister who was appointed, who was voted in, and the Prime Minister was voted in, neighbor. The Prime Minister is a political directorate, neighbor. We have voted for this person. And you, neighbor, the Integrity Commission is trying its utmost best to overthrow or to illegally or to plan and organize, neighbor, the overthrowing, neighbor, of a political representative who voted for. Persons like me now who voted for the Prime Minister, neighbor. How can I feel good enough to know so I voted for this man? With me dipping my finger in ink and stand up in a line. And you, Integrity Commission, I try to overthrow him to create all type of mishaps and bad information out there about it. Neighbor, the Integrity Commission need to go. They need to certify the Prime Minister before them go and just pack them bags and go, neighbor, that organization is compromised. It is corrupt, neighbor. And it is clear, neighbor, that the former head of that organization, neighbor, even though he's not there, neighbor, I strongly believe, neighbor, that he still has some kind of role in that organization.
Well, what a bombshell you have dropped here tonight, and opening the eyes of ourselves and our listeners. The understanding is that the FID has told the Integrity Commission that there is no viable or credible basis to undertake an investigation into the statutory declarations of the Prime Minister. It is understood that the FID has sharply criticized the ICE for its public posture into the probe of Dr. Holness and the subsequent referral to the FID. The FID noted that the IC's approach defied international best practice and risked prejudicing the investigation into the 4 years of the Prime Minister's statutory filing. In other words, the FID is basically saying that the IC practices need to be looked into, Scratchy.
Yeah, but that's basically what FID is saying here, but FID is saying here, but the practices and the way how the IC is operating here, but it is not nearby in the best interest of us, neighbor. They are trying to overthrow someone who majority of Jamaicans voted for, neighbor. That's what they're trying to do, neighbor. They're playing with our democracy. They're playing with our political process. Someone who was duly elected. They are trying to use, neighbor, and try to create some form of lies and scenarios around this man, neighbor. For what? It is clear as ever right now, neighbor. I always tell you, neighbor. Everything else, if we come out and talk, neighbor, they must say Scratchy and neighbor, right? Scratchy and this, neighbor. FID made it points, neighbor, strong and clear, neighbor. The way all the IC is conducting its affairs, neighbor, it is not in the best interest that suit our nation, and it is not in the best interest, neighbor, of the persons who we can set out, neighbor, to investigate. They compromise themselves, neighbor. They are entangled and they are clearly in bed with the People's National Party. That's why the PNP can tell us what is coming in reports. That's why the PNP can tell us when report is dropping and what will be the contents of those reports, neighbor. We need to look further into this thing. We need to break down this thing that the FID released, neighbor. It's not nothing normal, neighbor. This is serious things. It is showing that something is not wrong. Something is definitely wrong, I mean. Because I can't be an investigative body. And I write to you and tell you that I am not interested in carrying out this investigation because of what the information that is presented to me and whatever. I am going to use up my resources. The FID has a lot to do, and I'm going to use up majority of my resources to investigate the Prime Minister of the country for whatever reason. I just don't add up. The matter is not mad sin. You spent $32 million for an outside auditor when the FID was right there with government resources already. When they spent $32 million. So it's clear that you didn't have any faith, you didn't have any trust in the FID because you bypassed the FID and went outside of the country to get another investigator when the FID could have conducted that same investigation because they have the skills, they have the apparatus, that's what they're tasked for. But you bypass them now and to lengthen the process now, you use style now and say, all right, you're going to write a report, and because you know what the law says, once your report is sent to Parliament, that means the investigation is automatically closed. So what you do, to still have one foot in and one foot out, you refer the investigation to 2 other agencies or more and say, look into this. One of them write you back, what said this, neighbor, we want to hear what tax administration Jamaica say now. That is what we want to hear now. We want to hear the report from TAJ in regards to what FID, in what the Integrity Commission sent to them. We want to hear that correspondence now, neighbor. It's clear, neighbor, games are played, neighbor, man.
Yeah.
Playing the democracy, neighbor. This is not normal.
Yeah,
this is not normal, neighbor.
Yeah, you have called for the private sector organization of Jamaica, the church, other groups in Jamaica of influence to say something, Scratchy. Are you holding your breath?
Neighbor, definitely, neighbor. Well, I know we're not gonna see it, neighbor. But in any jurisdiction, neighbor, that understand law, neighbor. In any jurisdiction, neighbor, that have a respect, neighbor, for process, and in a jurisdiction, neighbor, that has some form of formality and respect, neighbor. The narrative will be totally shifted, neighbor. We will be talking about Dr. Wheatley tonight, neighbor. We'll be talking about the operation of the Integrity Commission.
Yes.
That there are some power, and there are some power that this commission is tasked with, neighbor. And you know that an organization like this, neighbor, that is tasked with this amount of power. They are playing games, neighbor. This is an organization, neighbor, that will fund to the tune of $2 billion a year.
Yes.
While our education system is still lacking. They still have schools that need a lot of supplies. But we fund the Integrity $2 billion each year. $2 billion to do what? $2 billion to do what? To try to craft a plan to remove an elected official? That's craziness.
Listen
That's
to
what this neighbor.
listen to the Prime Minister today speaking about it. Listen.
Your lawyers wrote to the IC asking them to make public the FID's position, and that's how they responded. The matter is still under investigation. Are you
Well,
not aware of that?
So I'm not aware of the FID's position. That's the point I'm making. I'm surprised that you are aware of the FID's position. How do you know what the FID's position is?
That's
we
my
we
information.
wanted to know. Our lawyers wanted to know what it is, which is why we wrote to ask. But
But your lawyers have not only just written to ask, they've asked that it be made public.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister stopped short of acknowledging whether he had confidence in the Integrity Commission. Listen to the Prime Minister.
Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
the Integrity Commission is a necessary agency to tackle corruption in Jamaica. I believe there are changes that are necessary for it to become more effective.
You haven't said yes or no.
I believe there are changes to make it more effective.
So as of this moment, do you have confidence in it?
I believe there are changes that are necessary
It needs fixing.
to precisely. And this is not just my opinion. I believe that the Integrity Commission itself has suggested changes that would make it more effective.
Huh.
I am not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PNP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
You hear that, Scratchy? That
Yes,
in,
sure.
in addition to the FID's criticism of the IC, the Prime Minister is saying that the PNP know what is happening in there more than him, who is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. How could this be possible?
Neighbor, there's a lot of persons in Jamaica, neighbor, who are not elected officials, neighbor, who hold some high office in our land, neighbor. And it's so sad, neighbor, that these persons who hold these high office, neighbor, because of their qualifications, some of them, neighbor, they are not, neighbor, representing us well, neighbor. They are not representing us, neighbor, from a position of neutrality, neighbor, that their position is, neighbor. They are biased. They always tend to lead towards the People's National Party, neighbor. And it is just so shocking, neighbor, because of how limited talent is in our country, to neighbor. That's why some of these persons, neighbor, can still hold a job, neighbor, because sometimes some of them might be removed. It might be so difficult, neighbor, to replace them. So some of these guys, they come in, neighbor, they just come corrupt the system, they corrupt the process. And that's what we are seeing with the Integrity Commission, neighbor. There are persons who are part of the Integrity Commission right now, neighbor, who is considered to be a best friend with a member of parliament or a member of the opposition. But yet still, neighbor, that person is also a part of the Integrity Commission who has the awesome power, neighbor, of investigating our politicians. So some form of compromise must be there, neighbor. When you look at even someone, again, neighbor, who was also a member or a part of some team, neighbor, of the previous leader, the Dr. Peter Phillips of the People's National Party. When you look at someone like that, again, also being a part of the Integrity Commission, you know, that also begs some other question as well. When you look at even the past leader, neighbor, at the Integrity Commission, neighbor, someone who, yes, was a justice, neighbor, and yes, some person might say, yes, there was some level of neutrality, but despite that, neighbor, in his own personal life, neighbor, we know where we lead politically. So it just shows, neighbor, that from the whole crafting, neighbor, till the whole inception of that organization, neighbor, some form of cohesiveness, neighbor, was there, neighbor. Some form of hidden agenda was there. And we are seeing the hidden agenda now, neighbor, being shown right now, neighbor. So I just want to say, neighbor, that we have to fix this thing, neighbor. This is not something light. This is something very serious, neighbor. The Integrity Commission, neighbor, has awesome powers, neighbor. The Integrity Commission is funded to the tune of $2 billion a year. These guys who are part of it get certain level of protection, neighbors, funded by taxpayers. You know, there's some of these guys are protective services going around with them. You know, these guys have a very good life, neighbor, on the back of us as taxpayers. So in return, all we want to know, neighbor, is that these persons can be in the best possible way, and without any bias or being compromised or anything like that. But we are not getting that. And as a well-thinking Jamaican, I am flabbergasted, neighbor. I don't think, neighbor, that a country as small as Jamaica, neighbor, that the perception of corruption is so high, neighbor. You can't have corruption, neighbor, at one of the highest offices or one of the highest institutions, neighbor, showing it ugly and so boldly and proudly, neighbor. And persons are afraid to talk because you're gonna see you're gonna damage the morals of these persons, or you're gonna elect persons who don't want to be a part of the public sector no more. We have to speak the truth, and the truth has to be spoken, neighbor. And the person must come out and talk this. All along, neighbor, I've been hearing person saying the Integrity Commission is public, is this, the Integrity Commission is that. I had the feeling, yes, but I was just watching everything and saying, okay, you might have said that because you're a labor, right? So I wanted to see the real thing, neighbor. And the real thing was shown to them with this FID report,
Yeah.
neighbor, that was really fine.
I'm coming back to that. But listen to this for me, please, Scratchy.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the office of the Prime Minister.
Okay. So the question put to the Prime Minister is this. Listen again.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in.
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing. Is that different from he retains my confidence as a cabinet minister? Or do you think there's a distinction there that the Prime Minister has been cautious? Scratchy?
Sorry about that. Yeah, neighbor, I'm saying, neighbor, that those two statements, neighbor, I think the Prime Minister gave a political answer, neighbor, and a very diplomatic answer. And a very prime ministerial, neighbor. I mean, if we want to break it out, we can break it out, neighbor. The Prime Minister saying that Dr. Wheatley, neighbor, has the confidence, neighbor, the work that he has been doing. I mean, his ministry, neighbor. That goes to show you, neighbor, that for Dr. Wheatley, neighbor, to still retain the confidence of the Prime Minister, neighbor, in whatever work he's doing, neighbor. It shows that he has to be a minister, and if he's a minister, neighbor, the Prime Minister is basically telling him that, of course, I still maintain some form of confidence in him, but the Prime Minister, the way you want to take it, you want to take it. But that's how I see it, neighbor. I don't think, neighbor, the Prime Minister will come publicly, neighbor, and tell you that, neighbor, I don't have any confidence in Dr. Wheatley, neighbor, with the premature state, neighbor, of this investigation or this case. And I don't think the Prime Minister is going to come out neither, neighbor, and say the opposite. So the Prime Minister is going to be balanced, neighbor. The Prime Minister made a statement that can be skewed to both ways. So any way you want to look on it, you want to look on it half empty, you want to look on it half full, it is up to you. But that wonderful use of the English language, neighbor, by the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister did not say that Dr. Wheatley enjoys his confidence as a cabinet minister. The Prime Minister did not say that. Correct?
No, he did not say that.
So let's report what the Prime Minister said. Here is what the Prime Minister said.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the office of the Prime Minister, particularly AI and cyber and these other areas. As it relates to the report that was tabled on him, I have read the report briefly. I have had a chance to go through it. I do intend to be briefed by the
Prime Minister is not loose with his words. The Prime Minister knows what he's saying. The Prime Minister said that Dr. Wheatley, well, let me not repeat. Let me just get it again for you.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in.
That he retains his confidence in the work that he's doing. And I want to point this out to all of you who are sending me messages. The work that Dr. Wheatley is doing can be done without him being a cabinet minister. Just let me tell you that. The work that Dr. Wheatley is doing, he can do it without being a cabinet minister. In that regard, for the Gleaner to publicize that the Gleaner, CVM, has done the two things too. You know, guys, let me tell you this. Language is something that you must study. And that is why we don't do very good reporting in Jamaica, you know. And I've been telling you about narrative framing. Okay? The Prime Minister did not say that Dr. Wheatley enjoys his confidence as a cabinet minister. He didn't say that. And that is what is out there, that the Prime Minister backs Dr. Wheatley as a cabinet minister. And he does not. And you know why he hasn't backed him yet? Hear what the Prime Minister said. Listen carefully.
The Office of the Prime Minister, particularly in AI and cyber and these other areas, as it relates to the report that was tabled on him. I have read the report briefly. I've had a chance to go through it. I do intend to be briefed by the attorneys as to exactly what is stated in the report. The charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred on him. So until that point, we will observe the situation.
There you go. There you go. So then, you think the Prime Minister doesn't know what he's saying? Come. The Gleaner is not reporting what the Prime Minister said at all. The Prime Minister did not say that Dr. Wheatley retains his confidence as a cabinet minister. The Prime Minister actually is saying that is under review. That's what the Prime Minister said. That is under review. I have not yet made up my mind where that is concerned. Why? Because I have not even read the report and I am to be briefed. When I am briefed, when I have spoken to Dr. Wheatley today, when I am briefed by the legal teams, when I have read the report, I will know whether or not Dr. Wheatley enjoys the confidence of the Prime Minister. In the meantime, the work that Dr. Wheatley is doing, the Prime Minister is saying, I have confidence in that. And I appreciate the work that Wheatley is doing. I've lost Scratchy. I'm not so sure where he has gone. Harry?
Good night, neighbor. Good night, neighbor rights.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good, neighbor. I'm doing good.
Yes. Where you want to start?
Well, neighbor, anywhere is good, but let me put it this way. You remember the other night we were having conversation and I asked for the IC to be reviewed and we know what methodology is used to get their findings. You remember that conversation?
Yes.
I'm happy that the FID has exposed that it is not in keeping with best practices. So it shows that whatever results they have gotten, neighbor, is questionable. Now what they've done is put themselves in a precarious position where we can now second guess every and any statutory declaration put forward. Similar to the way how I would have brought up the whole thing regarding Mark Golding and his vehicle still being valued at $10.84 million for 3 consecutive years. It shows now that the Integrity Commission was willing, or the operatives of the Integrity Commission was willing to compromise, neighbor, for political gains. Because if you have refused to stick to standards, to internationally recognized standards, acceptable standards, to favor any specific party or any specific individual, it shows that you have gone against the very thing you stand for, which is integrity. And for me, I have no problem, neighbor, with the IC as an institution. I've said that I have maintained it. We need an IC, but what we need to do is to get rid of those at the helm. It is the resources, the human resources in the IC that is the issue. Those who are swayed one way or the other, or who are aligned one way or the other, neighbor, are the ones who needs to be weeded out. And just as how the Auditor General, for example, could have looked into UHWI issues and so on, it is time now for the IC to be subjected to the Parliament, which they're answerable to. It is time for the Jamaican people get a full-fledged knowledge as to how they go about everything. Neighbor, it should be meticulously scrutinized in such a way that even if the IC orders a pen, we need to know how it goes. Because what has shown now is that we have not gotten value out of that $30 million for the investigation. As of the political affiliations or alignment of the individuals in the IC. It is nothing to say that the independent individual auditor that came in, he has done his job.
Okay. Yeah.
But the
Before you
also shown us that they are willing to waste.
Yes. I'm sorry, Harry. Continue.
Go ahead, neighbor.
Hello?
So I'm saying they show us, neighbor, that they're willing to waste hard-earned taxpayers' money for their own gains. This is not something that benefits Jamaica. You know, it is on an individualistic based on how they feel about the Prime Minister, that they're going to use our money, right, to try and criminalize and to bring down the very Prime Minister that the country spoke on September 3rd. So it shows that they had a hand in the outcome of the election. And I want to utter a warning to the People's National Party base, and specifically Mark Rowling. You didn't get 28 seats. You got a layup from the Integrity Commission. And what they have done, we should put them on a pause.
Sorry, a layup, Harry? A layup?
They did, neighbor. It wasn't that they gained, well, I want to put it for them. They said they gained 14 seats. No, you didn't. You utilized an institution that is paid by taxpayers to try and frame a narrative to bring down the government of that day.
What do you mean they utilized? What do you mean by that?
Neighbor, let's look at it, right? They delayed the outcome of the Prime Minister's statutory declarations. In fact, I'll go as far as to say they refused, consciously, deliberately refused to follow the best practices. They refused to table it in a timely manner, right? To shape a narrative that the Prime Minister is not fit for duty. All the while, knowing, neighbor, and they're misleading the country, knowing that there's nothing there. It has reached a state now where the FID is simply looking at the IC to say, it's not a bit of dead ass. It can't be, neighbor, that an independent auditor.
What you're saying to me, Harry? You are saying that the elections of September 3rd, that the results for either side may have been influenced by what is happening here?
It has been influenced, neighbor. Because let's say, let's quantify it in our way. The biggest news through the election was not the booklet of the administration and what they've achieved. It wasn't the better alternative that the People's National Party put forward. It wasn't that Mark Golding was a better fit to be Jamaica's Prime Minister compared to Andrew Holness. It was all about, Andrew Holness have 28 accounts, 28 bank accounts, and he thieved the money. All because the IC went against proper protocols, neighbor. That was a deliberate stance.
What you're saying to me?
Ensure,
What you're saying to me here this Monday?
Neighbor, in the law of deduction, there's too much evidence that points in one direction.
What are you saying to me, Harry Henriquez?
And I
That the democracy is at this point not what we thought it was.
Neighbor, the Integrity Commission has played a hand in trying to shape what we thought is democracy. We have the whole aspect of it, but there's a backhand deal being dealt from the IC, an assist. In football, they'd say you get an assist, neighbor. That's what the Integrity Commission...
Hold on. Who is assisting who?
The Integrity Commission has assisted the opposition, neighbor, whether they want to admit it or not. And there's nobody here tonight that is listening, and those who may listen to the recording over can challenge me to prove otherwise. Because here's why. Neighbor, you're a professional, and you know the consequences of everything you do, or rather you should know. Right? You're an institution that should be holding up integrity, accountability, fairness, and balance. You know you have protocols, you have policies, you have best practices, you have research that you do to adapt to meet world standards, and you know the likely untaken neighbor. If you don't, then it simply means it goes back to what
when did I have you come to this position? Listening to the FID, well, the reports coming out today from the FID, or is this something that you have deduced previously?
Neighbor, today, the bomb that dropped today was a confirmation needed for the final piece of the puzzle. If you listen to how I was speaking leading up to all of this, even months ago,
yes,
there's a political aspect of it. There's also the misalignment.
Yes, and what George Davis had revealed some time ago.
Exactly. And I know George Davis' neighbor doesn't go out on a limb because his reputation is everything to him.
But you have to take time with my heart, Scott. You have to take time with my heart, because I'm here and I'm having, my God, I need a drink. I need some water or something. My God, I don't. No, sir, I need a break. I need a.
Yes.
Hold on.
I'm in a hurry. Oh, sorry.
I don't want to break him. I don't want to break him. What are you saying to me here, Harry? That the PNP was helped?
They were. And today proved it, neighbor. This has now become, an institution showing up another, that they want to incriminate them in the actions that they are carrying out.
But if this is so, Harry, this would be the biggest scandal in Jamaica's history.
It is, but I want to tell you what it does now, neighbor. It ensures that Jamaicans take a footstep backward in trusting what the Prime Minister has been trying to achieve, which is trusting systems and frameworks, neighbor. The Integrity Commission has single-handedly now, right, ensure that they put doubts in Jamaicans' mind to say we cannot trust the frameworks and systems and institutions that are there. That is what it has achieved in a neighbor. Because I can tell you this, it is not the labor rights them where I listen. We already did have a bias against the IC. It is now the neutrals who is seeing it for what it is. And they won't put it to say it is one party or the other. They're going to now group everybody for say, see that all of them are the same thing. And that was a narrative that the Prime Minister has been trying to change over the last decade, and the IC for political gains, neighbor, affiliations, have sent the Jamaican people in the psychologically backwards in trusting systems. And remember, neighbor, the other aspect to it now is that when they do this, the people will look and try to point it to any other system the government comes upon, because they won't say the IC stands alone. They're going to say the IC is a part of the government. And that is a problem for me personally. Because if you realize, neighbor, up to over a month ago, I said, and the professional stance of the IC is a problem for me. When everybody said the political aspect and so on, we get that, that's a given. And I brought into the framework of the conversation that these persons are incompetent at their job. Adding that too.
Which people are incompetent? Which people?
From the Integrity Commission, neighbor.
Incompetent? Hold on. Incompetent, sir?
They are. And
the Integrity Commissioners are incompetent?
They are, neighbor. They are. Because look at it this way now, right? Because it is a twofold thing. With their incompetence, because understand this, neighbor, if you have integrity and you have a job description and a responsibility to carry out, you will not jeopardize that. If you stand for what? It's in other word, integrity.
But if they are incompetent, Harry, then they will produce incompetent reports.
And that is the question that has now been put over all institutions. It's not just the Integrity Commission. They're going to take a beating for it, yes. The FID may stand alone, but understand this as well, neighbor. They've also tried to frame the FID through, follow me closely, through the rhetorics of the People's National Party, questioning the integrity and accountability of appointing Chung as the head of the FID.
Yes.
So the People's National Party, through their affiliations with the Integrity Commission, because there's a relationship there, we can't ignore it, right? No, they tried to discredit the FID. You think say the IC never knows that they want to paint the FID in a bad light, neighbor? It is all orchestrated, but because the FID has no punch back, thanks to proper journalism, let me put that out there, thanks to proper journalism, and I want everybody who did run with the misinformation from the Gleaner, run with this too. Because this is more credible than what the Gleaner reported.
You are saying that the nationwide report is you are giving it 100% credibility. You think it is factual?
Neighbor, let me put it this way. When specific news are being broken, look at who breaks it. Look at the characteristic of the individual who is bold and man enough to challenge status quos in the light of ensuring he upholds the art of journalism. I don't need to call him name. We all know who break these type of news. And it's not Cliff Hughes. Right? When you look at it, neighbor, that is a man. I will never say everybody is squeaky clean because I swear for nobody. But the character of that person let you know he's a decent man by the all meaning of the word. And the Integrity Commission has never, and no news that he has broken, anybody has ever challenged it.
Will you please, for the benefit of our listeners, break down for us the report of Mr. George David? Would you want me to play it for you, or you have it there?
I have it, but you can play it for persons who may just be joining, neighbor.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. What a fascinating piece of information this coming from member Harry this evening. So I will have to take a little break, get a little water, and come back. Give me a second. Listen to the report, and Harry is going to break it down for you.
Nationwide News understands the FID made its position known in a letter sent to the Integrity Commission on September 30, 2025. That letter was sent by Principal Director of the FID, Keith Darian, to the IC's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson. In the letter, the FID is clear. It says that after extensive review, it has determined there is no reasonable prospect of obtaining evidence to support any criminal charges against the Prime Minister. The FID told the Integrity Commission it does not carry out any investigation on a perfunctory basis. The word perfunctory is an adjective. It's used to describe an action done as a routine duty, but executed quickly, superficially, and without genuine care, interest, or enthusiasm. So what the FID has told the IC is that it does not launch investigations simply for the sake of doing so. The FID noted it had obtained some details of the Prime Minister's expenses which were requested by the IC, but it told the IC that the information obtained is unlikely to add any significant value to the investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. According to the FID, its decision to not initiate a formal investigation was made before the general election, which was held on September 3, 2025. The FID met with the IC on September 18, 2025, where it shared that it deliberately withheld communication about its decision until after the election so as to avoid the accusation it was attempting to influence said election. Now, in the letter sent by the FID to the IC, the FID is sharply critical of the IC's approach to its investigation into Dr. Holness's affairs. In one section of the letter, the FID says, quote, "Moreover, we have given careful consideration to the public nature of the referral. We are of the view that this approach may have been prejudicial not only to the subject of the investigation, but to the FID and potentially to the Integrity Commission itself." End quote. The FID also wrote, quote, "Please note, as a matter of course, the FID pursues very sensitive investigations, and in this particular case, we believe it was remiss of the IC not to request that the FID conduct a joint or parallel investigation around the time of the commencement of the probe, in keeping with international best practice." End quote. The FID continued, "In light of the foregoing, the FID has determined it will not initiate an investigation of the subject. The challenges in obtaining any evidence that meets the requisite standard using significant resources and time far outweigh the potential benefits of pursuing an investigation at this stage." End quote. Our sources say the Integrity Commission has since written back to the FID requesting it reconsiders its position on the Holness issue, but it's understood the FID is unlikely to respond favorably to the request. Our sources say senior investigators at the FID believe the case is not credible and are stunned at what they describe as the IC's amateur approach to the investigation. George Davis for Nationwide News.
Well, there you have it. Member, would you help us to understand what is the FID saying to the Integrity Commission, and what are we to make of the IC's response, and how is this now going to play out going forward? Help us, member.
Well, let me put it to the persons firstly. These institutions are to complement each other, right, for the best result for the Jamaican people after any form of investigation is done. You know, of course, upholding integrity, accountability, credibility, and so on.
Yes.
Now, for when you are doing high-profile investigation, you tend, and this happens in the rest of the world, and so I would say in best practices from the international standard, you tend to coordinate with the FID. In this case, for us, it's FID. For others, it's different institutions. For the best outcome, you coordinate the Integrity Commission, coordinate with the FID, because understands this, neighbor and listeners. The things that the IC cannot do, they don't have the technocrats in certain areas. They can't catch everything. The FID, who is built in for all sort of these type of investigations, can complement what the IC flags, or if the IC misses something.
In other words,
right?
the private investigator, which they paid $30 million, the FID could have done that work.
That is the work of the FID, which wouldn't have cost the people's.
That is the work of the FID. Hold on. That is the work of the FID.
That is the work of the FID, neighbor. Right? But I can tell you this: if you look at the chronological order of things, and I probably have to go back to the time when they requested for the independent auditor, because there's a time frame in it. But I won't do it for tonight for the listeners. You outsource a job that you have the resources here to do at an extra cost, and then when the outcome was not favorable to you.
But hold on. Why would they outsource the job that we have the capacity to do?
Neighbor, the communications between the FID and IC was not favorable at that time, right? Because they would have communicated. So, and that's why I want to dig a little deeper.
Sorry, you are saying that the IC would have communicated with the FID before they went ahead to employ the investigator to come in?
They would have. That is proper protocol, right? That is what would have happened. Now, here's the thing, neighbor. It is also playing on this cultural mindset that we've engraved in Jamaica for decades now. Remember the saying, anything where they are foreign must be better than what they are yard. So if we then take an international auditor from overseas and give him the information that we want to give him. Because that is what catch the IC, you know. It's the information that they gave this individual, you know, backfired. Because the numbers checked out. There's no additional request for any additional documents. There's no coming in of the Prime Minister to give additional explanations whatsoever. And this independent auditor looked at it and say, I see no foul play. There's nothing wrong. All of this also, neighbor, is to drag it out, scratch it touch on it, which is a very vital point. Because remember, election was coming around also. Right? Now, when they do that, neighbor, they realize that they not get the response what they want. They don't feel like it is in accordance to what they want. Neighbor, it is like doing a research. And because they realize the samples that you have won't give you the result. So you try to start tamper with it. So they then now come back to the FID, and the FID said, no, this investigation being done together from the beginning. You can't just do what you feel. You can't go rogue and then come back to us to try to frame a narrative that is not even there. And now you want to paint and tell the FID, because it's not in the professional world, we so recommend something. It's a nice way to say, I tell you if you do that. Right? So they want to tell the FID what to do and how to do it. That is neighbor that has integrity. Or let me say, the leading management of the IC is not credible. It does not embody integrity, does not want to see true accountability, and they delayed this long enough for it to be the biggest story in an election. And this is why I said they strategically assisted the People's National Party. Because I can ask anybody here who are not neighborites, who are neutral listeners, if they read the PNP manifesto. And 9.9 times I'm going to tell a neighbor, it's a no. If you ask them, even the same persons who supported the PNP, what is the better alternative being offered by the People's National Party in that election? They can't tell you. But you know what they can tell you? The Prime Minister have 28 bank accounts. Can you say, was any foul play, any corruption there? No, I'm 28 bank accounts, a corruption that.
Yes, so narrative framing and perception helped. And you are saying that you feel that this was done with a political objective, motive.
It was heavily neighbor, right? And it
but hold on.
And how they prompt. So what they did, you know, and I have somebody touch on it before I went there. When you prompt to say there's an illicit 6, which will be going to 8, neighbor, you know as an institution what you're doing. But because you can't explicitly come out and say, I'm in bed with the opposition, I'm in alignment with something that is not true. And you don't hear, well, let me not touch the so-called civil societies. I won't touch them tonight. I think they've been getting a proper beating, and I don't want to see none of them come talk on this. None. Because you
don't want to hear from any of the civil society groups up?
No, neighbor. I don't want to hear any one of them that is from the surrogates of the People's National Party or alignment with them.
NIA, JAM?
Neighbor, none of them. You know what went down? When the persons of the Jamaica Labour Party and or of the government speaks on matters that affects the opposition, them say it's just plain politics attack. That is how they frame it. Right?
You don't think you are going a little far, member? You don't think you're going a little far when you link the IC with the results of the election, or the you don't think you're going a little far?
No, neighbor. You know why? with the narrative that was framed, look at it this way: if you uphold integrity, neighbor, and you're all for accountability as an institution, the moment you saw that it was weaponized, and this is me being extending grace to them, the moment as an institution you saw that your findings or your information is taken out of context, right? Let's say that is what happened, and you need to now distance yourself from it. You would have provided clarity. You wouldn't have waited until after the election. You tried to save face. You would have cleaned it up there, right there and then.
Then why is this not an issue for the party? Why is it not an issue for the party, the Jamaica Labour Party?
Neighbor, I want to lay that bare feet for them to speak, because I'm not going to speak for them. I want the affiliates of the Jamaica Labour Party and the Jamaica Labour Party to come and give us what they want to give us, how they see it, how they frame it, and what was happening with them. I'm not prompting them tonight, right? Because we said it time and time again, they don't know how to politic. They are slow out of the blocks. And not because they get that third terms mean you're supposed to lay on your laurels. This is more work to be done. And how I see it, neighbor, in my household, right? For example, if you attack the head, best believe we're coming with everything we have. But I don't get that feeling from the party itself, right? And when you look at it, because neighbor, remember I came on the program and said we have to find a way to protect the legacy of what Andrew Holness is doing. The legacy of it should be protected. I never see them come out and try to protect it. If this is how you protect an unprecedented event, then I don't want to see how you protect it if it's not. They should be there as a party, separate the government workers who are of the party from those who are there. They are more than competent people at the party that can do the job. You don't need a Marlon Morgan. You don't need a Abka. You don't need them to come and speak. They have their role, senatorship and in government. They have that. Let them work on that. Now, if you want to consult with them, fine, because they are a part of the party. But there has to be other persons available who see it as an opportunity to step up in the party. It's your time. Neighbor, growing up, if I'm in somewhere and I see somebody who is better than me and have more experience than me, is it the moment them have something else doing? I am stepping up into that gap, fill that gap to show that you are competent. I don't get that from a lot of the people, especially G2K, Young Jamaica misfiring big time. You hear what them well we played it. Them bring event from 1976. This is what you should have brought. You know this information. Dig deeper. Learn to politic. And defend those who are on the front of the line. Because they can't do certain things. They have to remain statesman-like. But you know who can do anything? Of course, within the confinements of the law. Those who are within the party, they can get down. I'm not saying they should get down and dirty, but you can combat it, like for like. The young people say ban for ban.
Yeah. Would you go back with me, member, to the FID's letter to the IC? What is the FID really criticizing the IC about? Precisely what?
Neighbor, they're saying to them that they have misused resources and also found themselves in a wanting position. So I'm bringing it down to layman's term for everybody. Being in a wanting position, meaning they are fishing, they are searching for something that is not there. And the FID is saying, I want none of that. Because looking at it, having gone over it, the FID is satisfied. And bear in mind, the FID has better resources, better technocrats in terms of experts to investigate. The Integrity Commission does not have those levels. And that is why they should have coordinated with the FID, but the FID looked at it and said, I don't see anything wrong. We've gone through the information you've given us, and as such, we think it is satisfactory. It is upholding everything. No foul play. Go ahead. The ball is back in your court, and don't come back to us, because you should have done so from the get-go. So now that you found yourself in a pickle, you've played by your own rules. The FID played by the rules, not their own. The rules that are there, accepted internationally. We are going to be a part of this narrative that is being framed, because we have to be credible. We have to show the people that we can hold everybody accountable, and we also have to protect limited resources. We cannot go ahead and investigate somebody knowing the end result before. You're wasting taxpayers' money, efforts, and human resources that could have gone elsewhere for proper things. So now the ball is in the IC court. They've dug themselves very deep. So when they dig, all they dig too.
Yeah.
I tell the IC to dig several.
So here we are tonight, Harry. The Nationwide is reporting that there is this correspondence between the IC and the FID. The Prime Minister remains uncertified. What are we going to do?
Well, neighbor, we will continue to call out for what is just and what is right. We need to comb through that integrity commission. I think it is the best request that can be asked of Jamaicans and those who truly believe in integrity, neighbor, because we need to be able to see exactly what was happening in house. Why your very own institution that should be coordinating with you has a different outcome than you, and also refuse to collaborate with you at this time. Right? We as the people need to know. And I know Mark Golding, he has very few ounces, if any, integrity left. This is a layup for him. But he doesn't know how to lay it up, and I won't give him the layup tonight. Let him go and figure it out. Right? But when you look at it, neighbor, the Integrity Commission has now defiled them their very own selves. They put themselves in a position. It's not even between a rock and a hard place anymore. It is about now saying we cannot trust anything that comes from that institution. Is it just like how I don't want to hear anything from no so-called civil service society neighbor because they choose what to nitpick about? That is exactly how Jamaicans tonight are going to look at the Integrity Commission. Of course, you're going to have those who support the nonsense that we see coming out. They're going to run with it, of course, and they're going to also try and discredit the news media, the media house that has broken this news. I can tell you that's a given. But we as Jamaican people want to know that this 2 billion plus that is budgeted to the Integrity Commission every year is money well spent, because right now we're questioning the type of work we're getting and the value that we ought to get, because it clearly doesn't show. And finally, on that part, neighbor, how long will it take for them to certify the Prime Minister? Because that is the big question that everybody wants to know now.
Well, amazing stuff. 27 minutes after 9 o'clock, you're tuned into the Hello Neighbor show right here on the Politics Plus network. We're streaming live on YouTube, we are on Patreon, we are on X, and we are on TikTok. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the channel, the Hello Neighbor podcast, the Hello Neighbor show. And we do have a backup channel, Politics Plus Jamaica. We are encouraging you to like and subscribe to that. Also, if you have not followed our page on TikTok, we ask that you follow our page also. Please remember also that we do accept your sponsorship or your contribution to the work we do here. If you are mindful to give something to the program, 954-635-8732 is our Zella code. That is 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. And we will very much appreciate your contribution and your support to our program. We have with us Shafreen. She is holding things down on the technical side. Caroline, she's all the way in the United Kingdom. I wonder if she's still up. Blueberry and Damsel and Keisha, they're also helping with work in the moderating department. We have Astute Affluence with us, and member Harry, who has just really taken us to school and revealed to us something that is so very interesting. Astute, you've been listening in. What you have to say to all of this?
Liam, I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because Harry said that because of the IC's actions, they would have influenced, or seemingly, deductive reasoning, he said, seemingly influenced the outcome of the election.
Let me just pause to big up Wife Style. Wife Style Politics is over on YouTube, helping us with our moderating. Thank you so much, Wife Style, and hello to you also. Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, man. So, however, the IC said the reason for not releasing their findings or approaching to the FID, the reason for not approaching the FID with their findings is so as not to appear to influence the election. So that would be direct contradiction to what Harry said, because here's the IC categorically stating that the reason why they did not put this information to the FID is because they did not want to appear to have influenced the outcome of the election. Now, do these people think we're fools? Because, neighbor, how is it? It is evident, and I do agree with Harry, but I'm just trying to show you that they stated expressly.
What aspect of Harry's presentation you don't agree with? You agree with everything?
No, everything.
You also are agreeing that the IC could have influenced the outcome of the last election, September 3rd?
It's not could have. They did. Because if you remember, one of the major headlines during the election cycle was that the Prime Minister isn't certified and he's a thief. Remember, we were over here day in and day out, and I said, where did they find evidence of stealing or misappropriation?
Yes.
Illicit enrichment. So I agree with everything Harry said. They would have directly, because of the withholding of this valuable piece of information, influenced the outcome of the election. And the thing is, neighbor, they are in their legal right to withhold it, according to the IC Act. That is why the permanent secretary was saying that they need to take a look into the powers of the IC and amend the act, because the IC have too much power. But neighbor, I am just happy tonight. Believe me, I am beyond happy.
You are happy with the information coming out of the FID?
Oh yes, 100%. Because now we can state categorically, without having to fear litigation, because the body responsible for investigating things as these came out and said these people are amateurs and unprofessional because they did not keep in line with international best practices. So, most definitely, neighbor. And the Prime Minister will be vindicated. And as I said earlier, this is the first nail in the proverbial coffin of the IC. And something has to be done. But neighbor, I think it's gonna be a task and a half, because there's no body, as in no entity responsible for prosecuting the IC should they be found untoward, to commit anything untoward. So it's going to be a task, but it's going to be done. It's going to be done, neighbor. And as Scratchy had pointed out initially, this entity, the IC, needs to be shaken up, a massive shake-up, and the key players and principals removed because it is shown that they're not fit, they're inept, they're incompetent, they're not fit for this job. And it is shown that they're compromised, they're biased.
Yeah. Let's open the line.
I feel good about this.
Yeah, thank you. Let's open the lines to our callers. We have another 27 minutes left on the program. Let's open up the lines to our callers and hear what they have to say. Member Harry, stay with us and
So there's a caller on StreamYard, Rasta Cup. I'm going to ask you, please, if you could open your camera just because I want to make sure that you're a real person. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So while we wait for Rasta Cup, we are going to ask you, moderator, if you would add the callers. Callers, if you want to come up at this time to speak with us, Astute, Harry, ask any question, seek any clarification, or just add your views to the conversation. The lines are now open to you. You come up and discuss what you have to discuss. All right. Okay, great. Yeah. Hello, good night, caller. Hello? Hello? No one? All right. Please, let them come up now. We're taking your calls. We're taking your calls now, 25 to 11 o'clock. Good evening to you, Gail. Hello? Hello? Please, guys, if you want to come up, just come up and open your mics now and let's get this going. Emilia Brown, good night. No.
You don't hear Amelia, bro.
Good night. Hello.
Oh God, I'm here quick.
Yeah, it's not a joke. Remove those people from it. We don't want the jokers up here. Yes, you do. I beg you. We have anyone else? Okay. Yes. We have lots of people in the chat. At least 20. Let's see what happens now. Let's see who is there. Good night to you, Sheila. No, not there. All right. Who else do we have? Oh my God.
Aiden Taylor.
Hello. Good night to you. Good night to you, Taylor. No, they're not there. Shamika Pat. Hello. Cake man. Good night, sir. No. Paul, last name.
Good afternoon, neighbor.
Good evening to yourself. Thank you.
And all the other persons are present, 356 I can see. I am totally concerned about the ICC thing, the IC thing with Security Commission. But I have a more pressing issue.
Yes.
And I'm putting it on the table now. Why are we allowing Horace Chang, the so-called Minister of National Security, to allow him just for the USA to send all these criminals, crooks, rapists? We don't know who they are.
Cut off. No, man. Take off this man from off the program. This man don't have no contribution to it. Cut him off. Take him down from it. Listen to me, sir. Don't come up to this program with that foolishness. You hear? Don't come up here, sir. Don't. This is not the program for propaganda and foolishness. We don't do that here. Okay, I'm sorry about that, sir. We don't do propaganda here. That doesn't help us at all. So we have to move on. Good night to you, Williams. Arthnell Williams, good night. Good night, Williams. Remove that man for me, please. Moderators, just add what you have and let's see who we can sift through here. 22 minutes to 10 o'clock. I'm not so sure. I have
How's it looking on your side, Jeffrey?
I have 5 people on me over on my side. I don't know. Huh?
I have one. I have one on my side. Rasta Cup, he hasn't opened his camera, and
No, you're breaking up, Sheffrin. We're not hearing you at all.
oh, sorry. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you now, yes?
Yeah, so I do have one, Rasta Cup, but I don't know if that person is legit or if the person is a bot or I'm not sure because the person refused to open their camera.
Well, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want his face on here.
Keisha said he did.
No, I just want to make sure that it's a real person and not.
But I see him typing. I see him typing there. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Keisha said he did.
He did.
Keisha said he did.
Okay, he did open his camera, but he doesn't.
He did. Okay.
All right, let's talk to him.
Okay. So it's a real person, Keisha. All right. He's here to talk to you, neighbor.
Go ahead. Rasta Cop. Where is he? On YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Hello, neighbor. You hear me?
I am hearing you. You are a real person, sir?
Why? I woke up this morning and I say a few reverence.
You
but anyway, reverence. Like, you know? Yeah.
Let me confirm that you are a real person. What is the color of my shirt?
White.
No, sir, it's blue.
It's blue? Oh, I'm colorblind. I'm colorblind. So
that's what I'm making. It is white. It is white.
Yeah.
Actually, white. Good night to you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm gonna ask you a question. Are you a man of the cloth?
If I'm a man of the cloth?
Yeah.
Why?
The reason why I ask you because I'm very skeptic, you know, because the man of the clock was on the other side, you know, but at the same time you come and speak some truth.
No.
You know?
I am hello neighbor, sir.
Oh, okay. Let's take it from there then.
Uh-huh.
No, I have you on a little probation, you know. I've been watching you for some months now, you know.
You have been watching me?
Yeah, you passed the 90 days and you're keeping it straight. So
I see.
So let's just say I'm impressed.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you to my team also for making sure that I continue to do the work I do. If I couldn't do it without them.
And you know what the most impressive thing about you?
Yes, sir.
It seems like you is a Perkins Heights.
A what?
You know? A Multi Perkins Heights, like
you think that
there you go with that laugh.
No, sir. This is my own.
Oh my God! Yeah, you made my playing that little clip.
Oh gosh,
but
there you go, sir. That's the original.
Yeah, as an individual who voted for both sides, you know, at one particular time in my life, you know, because
mute these guys on TikTok for me. They're going to be a problem. Gary Higgins, mute it. Yeah, go ahead now, sir.
No, what may I say to you now, Mr. Neighbor? We vote for both sides already, you know, in my lifetime. Because me get tricked by the black man time, you know.
You did?
Yes.
I see.
We vote for him one time.
Oh.
You see me? But we always know, say, a form of industrialization are the only way you can make, because it take cash for care, you know.
Yes.
And Eddie Siaga always say that. But we're gonna move on. You know the problem what PNP have with their party right now?
Tell us.
JLP has morphed into Andrew Holness party. But PNP still hold on to the I don't want to say the ghost, Please give me an appropriate word for use, neighbor.
Well, I have to understand what you're saying, sir. Let me have a
Them
drink.
still hold on for Michael Manley, which have no relevance in this time of 2026.
Yeah. Yeah.
When me hear when me a man listen to Mutty Perkins from them time, they remember say Singapore is a country don't even have water for them don't they have to import raw water from a country, and
Yes.
them treat it and export it back to the said country,
Yes.
Singapore become independence in 1965, not because of them will, them force them out,
Yeah, they were thrown
Them
out,
have-
out of Malaysia.
Okay. And what he did, he educated his people and a focus on race.
Yeah, but so they had to deal with something that we are still struggling with here in Jamaica, and that is tribalism.
Try, but them try that. Them try that. That's why I make everybody. That's why I make English the dominant language.
The common language, because they were ethnically divided, sir. And when you have Jamaica is a multicultural country, out of many one people, and multiculturalism is something that we need to embrace more, even in this TCN deal that the government is getting into. Jamaicans should be more accepting of it, sir. Because we can't be a closed nation. Tourism is our major income earner of foreign exchange, and those aren't Jamaicans. Those are people from other countries.
Neighbor, say live in the diaspora. Say it cost a 1% levy if you the remittance if you use cash.
Yes.
If you're using cash, if me send a money to Jamaica right now, send $100, me have to pay. If me I use cash, me have to pay $1. What if the American decide to put you at 10% or even 50% or even 100%?
Yes.
Me not talk about no visa and them thing there. Me I talk about this remittance.
Just to tax the remittance that we sending back home.
Okay, them a tax it right now, 1% if you send cash. So all them people who are in the diaspora, please use a debit card.
Oh.
Cause me send money regular. Me no use cash, neighbor. And that's the thing with Jamaica. Me them a talk about this needs. Don't your cell phone. They take your biometrics, and you don't know who taking it, Google or what you call it, Apple. They take your biometrics, and people have problem with the government in Jamaica take their biometrics.
Yes.
You see, we need. You see, PMP is of the past, and this current crop of people, they don't have nothing to offer. That's why every time Parliament open, there's disruptive. And
yes.
People, we don't need to talk about we have to talk about these people, but at the same time, the things what they might do in a Parliament, it not have no benefit to the country, yo. These young people, these young JLP associate thing, them need to put them to work.
Well, the Prime Minister said, I think quite a number of Jamaicans are not wanting to work at all. That's a problem.
300,000 people.
Well, I didn't think
50,
I don't think it is so.
50,000 people look at it. 50,000 people looking for a job right now. All right. Carly say when some of them go get a job and then go decide to not go. They might have a young baby or whatever. But you have 300,000 people who now look nothing, Yeah.
Yes.
You have a next set of people underemployed. You have over 250,000 people illiterate, semi-illiterate, numerous, and yo, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not highly educated, in terms of me not go college.
You're not highly educated, sir?
No, me not go tertiary. Me go high school and box.
Oh. You sound like you have a man, you have a PhD, man.
Maybe PhD not making babies, but that's a different story.
How
But
many kids you have,
anyway,
sir? How many kids you have?
that's a measly half a dozen.
You have a PhD in making babies. That's what you're saying to me.
Me say I just have a measly half a dozen, so it's not a lot.
You have a PhD in making babies. That's what you say, sir.
Well, you know what? Just let that pass, please.
No, I can't make it pass because I want to get a couple and I can get them. So you have to help me out. Tell me what you do.
No. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Let that pass, sir. Let that pass.
Yeah, make that pass. But at the same time, with all jokes aside,
yeah,
I've never seen. You know, more tell you honest truth. I was born in the 70s.
Oh.
1973 to be exact. And somehow I know it was my generation going to make a change in Jamaica. Andrew Holness in the twilight of my life. Because my best days gone, you know.
Yes.
Because I'm 52 years old, going to be 53. So my best days gone.
Your best days are not gone, sir. Your best days are not gone. As a
no,
matter of fact,
what?
Your best.
No,
your
what
best,
am I?
hold
No.
on.
Yeah.
Your best day is the day before you die.
Okay.
Think about that. You hear?
Yeah, them say the worst thing about that is who miss you, you know.
Well, I tell you, your best days are not gone yet, sir. And your best days are always ahead of you. Always ahead of you. Always.
No. The reason why I say that is because I have grand. I have one grand. And me still have some teenagers. You know what I say?
Yeah. I have to wrap it now, though, you know, sir. I have to wrap up with you.
Yeah, man. No, man. Everything nice, man. You know, everything nice. Just keep up the good work. And all of the heavy hitters that me here have, just let them go on. Let's let them go on lick the six them. You see me I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep it truthful. That's all you have to do for all my attention.
Indeed.
Nothing more. And big up all of the me don't remember the ladies then when you have to do the
Caroline and Shafreen and Damsel and wife style politics and Blueberry and Keisha.
There you go. Keep the female them coming, yeah. And somebody drinks them too.
Which one of them you like?
You know, say I try to set me up. Me have the knife right on my throat right now. She stand up behind me, you know. So anyway, you have a nice evening, neighbor.
You too, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, blessed love.
Bye. Take care of yourself, sir. Great. Nice having you. Okay, 9 minutes to 10 o'clock. I wonder if we have any more callers online. Do we have any more callers? Do we have, Keisha. Do we have any more callers? We have green tea. Callers, we have 9 minutes that you can jump in and talk with us. Mus for Mizzy. Who is that? Peter Timberlake and green tea. Any of you want to talk?
No, neighbor, take me down, please.
Take you down from where? Or maybe take you down.
I don't want to talk.
Oh, you mean you don't want to talk and you are talking? You're already talking. How are you doing, green tea?
I'm great.
You're great.
Just anyway.
You were just what? All right, hold on. I have a caller online. Good night, caller. Good night. Hello?
Good evening to all your listeners. Yes, neighbor, you hearing me?
I am hearing you quite well, sir. Good evening to you.
Good evening, and good evening to all your listeners and your viewers.
Yes?
I have an assessment. I have come to a particular conclusion, and I'd just like to hear your take on it, in terms of what's happening in the opposition People's National Party.
Yes?
I am of the view that all that you see happening, all the machinations and all the shenanigans happening in the PNP is coming from Peter Bunting. He is directing everything. And this is why I'm saying this, right? Peter Bunting swore in 2019 that he would have been president of the People's National Party. And as such, he swore that after being president in 2019, he was going to be prime minister in 2020. Now, unfortunately for him, 2019 did not happen, and obviously there was no chance of him becoming prime minister in 2020 because he schemed so brilliantly and
Excuse
so
me,
hard.
neighbor. Caller?
Yes.
The sound is low on YouTube.
Him not getting what he wanted.
Yeah, we can't do anything about that. You see, Kerf Sheffrin, it's from the line, so it's gonna be low. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm gonna ask him to. I'm gonna try and turn this up a little.
Yes, are you hearing me?
I'm trying to turn up my sound a little here. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, so I am of the view that because he's seen his dreams slipping away, because he's had to sit 5 years from 2020 in opposition. He didn't even have a seat. He lost his seat. He was put in the Senate by Mark Golden, right? Now, in 2025, again, he swore that they would have won. And to his dismay, they have lost. So he's now going to have to sit out 10 years from 2020 to 2030 when the next election is constitutionally due. Apparently, he can't wait that long. Or he doesn't want to wait that long. And that is why we're seeing this sort of disruption. We saw it leading up to the 2025 general elections, They threw everything to win. And they came up short. And for him to sit for another 4.5 years, it's unimaginable to him. So he's doing all of this, right, to come into power through the back door. But for me, it's just not going to happen, and he's just going to have to slowly wrap his head around the reality that he's a done deal. He's a done deal. He gambled and he lost. So that is my assessment. I'm not sure what your take on it is.
Well, I don't know. I suspect that there is a orchestrated move within the society, and I don't think that the PNP is the only actor in this to assume power. Because power is not only what you see. Power runs much deeper. Runs much deeper than this. So I suspect that he may be part of it, but I don't know that he necessarily is the major actor. And a lot of times these politicians are mere puppets, acting for persons in the business class, etc. I think Peter Bunting's political career is virtually over at 70. At 70 years old, where can he go? I don't know that people listen anymore to Bunting when he speaks. Barely could win the South Manchester constituency. Was beaten in Manchester by Rhoda Moy. I don't know. I think he has very little effect, quite frankly.
So, you brought up a very important point a while ago about other groups in the society. And I hear, on your platform and others, people referring to civil societies. I feel at this particular point, we need to just come out and call them for what they are. They're PNP advocate groups. That's all they are. The civil society label or tag is just to have them be seen in a neutral light. But based on especially what has come out in the FID letter regarding the IC, we can now just call them out for what they are. All of these so-called civil society groups are actors for the People's National Party. And it is clear as day. None of them have come out to condemn the behavior towards the Speaker of the House. Right? None of them have come out to comment about the behavior of the opposition. Right? In terms of actions by Nikisha Burchell and others. Right? But yet, as soon as something appears, off for them regarding the government, we see them all crawl out. So I feel now it's time for us to just call them for what they are and just stop saying civil society, because civil society gives them this air of neutrality and sort of legitimacy when they're not. They're just advocates for the People's National Party. And I'm sure you can see value in that argument.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I suspect that there are many forces that are pushing a narrative, and it is all with an agenda, and that agenda is toppling the current government. Success, I don't know, but I don't think they'll stop trying so.
Well, we all have agendas, I mean, the government has their agenda, which is to build out Jamaica and make it more prosperous, so we're not fighting against agendas, as it were, but when it comes on to the civil societies, we clearly see that their interest is not for Jamaica. It's for the party and for themselves, not for the country. And that's why, I know you still have to, maintain that air of professionalism, which we all do admire, and that's why we tune in, but if it quacks like a duck, it flies like a duck, we have to just call it what it is. So I no longer refer to anything as civil societies, especially the main ones that we hear about constantly, the JAMP and all the others. I don't refer to them as that. They're just advocates, arms of the People's National Party, doing the bidding for them.
Really?
So
they are dogs.
Yes, they are. They are. They are. I mean, who came out? Which one of them came out to speak on the Jacqueline matter and Dennis Gordon? And called upon Mark Golding to exercise, some level of leadership by censoring him or asking him to step down from a particular position that he holds. Which one of them came out when he clearly defrauded the Jamaican people? Which one of them came out and asked for that?
None of them at all, sir.
Exactly. So again, we have to call them out for what they are and let them know that, and eventually they'll obviously start to accept it, but coming out and behaving the way they're behaving in terms of, this legitimate sort of organization, it's a farce, Well, so that's my 2 cents tonight, and love what the Prime Minister did today in terms of just making certain things clear to the Jamaican public. And I'm just saying, look, for him, Mr. Prime Minister, we who voted for you trust you to lead us, if we see you messing around, then we will do what we have to do. But until then, we trust you implicitly to go on, because you've not failed us over these last 10 years. So we don't see why you'll do that now, So carry on, let them who want to do their worst, be their worst. Let you continue and your government to do your best in building out this country and making it prosperous.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Take care.
Fantastic. Let's go in now to our team members and ask them to give us their closing thoughts as we wrap the program for this Monday. Starting with you, Astute.
Yes, name. It's a good day to be a supporter of the government. It's a good day to be a Jamaican. We see the prime minister's work paying off. We, as a nation, has propelled much further than where we once were. We are in unprecedented times, and we continue to give the government our full support in carrying us into Vision 2030 and beyond. And as you always point out, we have a vision in front of us as it relates to moving towards a Singaporean model in terms of how we want to have an expected outcome. And I know, I am confident that we can achieve that because the Prime Minister has shown time and again that he's the man for the job.
Yes.
And we just continue to stand in solidarity with him. We pray for him. We pray for the leader of our country to continue to carry out the mission, the mandate of the government to make every Jamaican life better and to improve the quality of life for our children. This is going to be a place where we can retire, own businesses, and live good quality lives. And that's what I have to say for tonight. Thank you for having me, neighbor.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Hope I'll join you tomorrow.
Definitely, I'll be here.
Take care of yourself. Well, member Harry?
Yes, Mr. President.
Well, sir, you're gonna have to close out and send the listeners off to their bed. Talk to them and let's see if we can wrap this.
All right, we're still on YouTube, right?
We are.
All right. So for the YouTubers, before I put the wrap on the wrap, so it's another good night, bringing information out there to everybody. Those who listen for the right reasons and those who don't, it's information nonetheless for you. YouTube, love, keep like, share, and subscribe to the program, the Politics Plus Network, the Hello Neighbor Show. Of course, we have a lot of things in the pipeline, and we always need your support to bring these things to life. Bring some air into the lungs of it, and to get these programs out to you and to Jamaicans alike overall. Of course, again, thanks for the support. TikTok, just the same. We're on X trending as well. Facebook. I think we're on Instagram as well, neighbor. Thank everybody for the support who come out night after night. You're the reason why we keep doing this. You fuel us, you give us a motivation, and we can't thank you enough. But wrapping up in terms of what we discussed tonight, neighbor, I think it's becoming a time where we're getting somewhere.
Yes.
And I say that because a lot of the ifs, the buts, the maybes, the wondering, the alleged, and these, whatever terminology we want to use, a lot of these are coming to the forefront now as facts. We're getting the facts here, we're getting the accurate information, and it is challenging what we knew. It is also challenging us as a nation to demand better, to raise the standards of individuals, of political representatives, and more importantly, of institutions that are to hold these people accountable. And that for me is a good day in Jamaica's progress, because progress happens with or without us, but we want to ensure that we are a part of that change. It's a part of the things that we speak on, these conversations that matter, to give the clarity, to give the edification of our people, neighbor, who may not have the luxury of dissecting these pieces that are put out day after day, right? Empowering them to also have additional conversations like what we're having.
Yes.
To have it from an informed standpoint, from an informed perspective, so these conversations can be holistic in nature and not just rhetorics and political alignment. We want to be able to be objective when we call the word Jamaica. When we stand for anything that is Jamaican, birth from yard, and where we want to see Jamaica from now. There's a saying that says, be the change that you want to see. And through programs like this, each and every night, you become that through information, through learning, because we're human beings and we never stop learning. And in order for us to help Jamaica move forward, we have to be better. We have to ask for more. We have to raise the bar and hold our leaders accountable and hold ourselves when we do fall short just the same. And I think we're getting there. Like I said, it's progress, neighbor, and I'm happy for that progress. It is more than speed. It is pivoting where we want to go, giving us direction. And you can only get proper direction if you are in the know. Because a lot of us don't know that we don't know and don't know what we don't know, neighbor. Right? But we're here. We give our time, give our energy, and we get your support to do so, to help you, help us, help Jamaica. And as long as we keep getting that support, we can always have these conversations. We can always touch on these topics, not to have them in silos, not to have them along political lines, but along what advances Jamaica and Jamaicans alike. And I land there and I yield there, neighbor, to all neighbor rights and to everyone who is listening on the For You page and otherwise. Hope everybody have a good night, and we'll see you here tomorrow at 7 p.m. same time.
Thank you so much. Please remember that we are always on standby if news breaks, and we think that we need to bring it to you. Then you can definitely look out for us. Click on, and we will be on with you. Depending on what is happening tomorrow during the day, we may come on. We will have to work through the details of that. Please remember that your support for the program is necessary and welcomed. 954-635-8732 is our Zelle account. That is 954-635-8732. If you are in Jamaica and you want to support us, then you can send us a WhatsApp at 876-858-9553. That's 876-858-9553. YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. X, thank you so much for tuning in. Patreon, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the other side of tomorrow. And